She's become one of the most beloved political figures through her time on television, because she's been very, very successful at a thing called television. She got out of what she was doing, and frankly, she does them both great, but she's really, to me, she'll always be known as a great lawyer and a great prosecutor, which is what she's doing now. So Jeanine Pirro, I have no doubt, will be an exceptional U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, one of the truly most important positions in our country, of any position.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Today, Mr. President, you bring me back to my roots. And it is a larger arena, but no less an arena where we need justice, where we need to send a message that justice will be honored in the District of Columbia. Mr. President, America thanks you, and I thank you.
This is our great...
A U.S. federal trade court has blocked President Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariffs from going into effect. Wednesday's ruling from the Manhattan-based Court of International Trade said the president had overreached his authority. The court said Congress is empowered by the Constitution to regulate international commerce, and the president's use of emergency powers does not override that power. The Trump administration appealed the ruling within minutes. Trump had claimed broad authority in order to impose his tariffs in April. He cited an emergency powers law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, to set 10% duties on all imports. Countries with the highest U.S. trade deficits saw even higher rates, particularly China. The law has historically been used for sanctions against Washington's enemies, but Trump is the first U.S. president to use it to impose tariffs, as he had argued the trade deficit was a national emergency. A three-judge panel disagreed in Wednesday's ruling, saying, "The court does not pass upon the wisdom or likely effectiveness of the president's use of tariffs as leverage. That use is impermissible not because it is unwise or ineffective, but because federal law does not allow it." That ruling came after a pair of lawsuits. One was filed by the nonpartisan Liberty Justice Center on behalf of 5 small U.S. businesses. They ranged from a wine and spirits importer to a maker of musical instruments, all importing goods targeted by tariffs. The other lawsuit was brought by the Democratic Attorneys General of 13 U.S. states. The White House and lawyers for groups that sued did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Stephen Miller, a White House Deputy Chief of Staff and leading Trump advisor, said in a brief social media post, quote, "The judicial coup is out of control." Trump has said his tariffs are intended to restore U.S. manufacturing, but suspending, delaying, or raising them since his tariff decisions have sent shockwaves and uncertainty through financial markets. At least 5 other legal challenges to the tariffs are pending.
Dozens of children are dying of starvation. The images of mothers embracing their motionless bodies, caressing their hair, talking to them, apologizing to them, is unbearable. How could anyone tolerate this horror? Excuse me, Mr. President. I have grandchildren. I know what they mean to their families. And to see this situation of the Palestinians without us having hearts to do something is beyond the ability of any normal human being to tolerate.
Whizzing across the Strait of Gibraltar, the makers behind the Candela C8 say it made a first-of-its-kind intercontinental journey.
I always see the town.
The electric boat completed a 24 nautical mile trip from Soto Grande, Spain, to the Spanish enclave of Ceuta in North Africa in just over an hour, matching the speed of conventional fast ferries. The Swedish company said the boat is designed to fly above the water on 2 hydrofoils, reducing drag and cutting energy consumption by 80% over conventional fast vessels. Julian Erskine is Candela's senior motion and path planning engineer.
For a comparison of the energy efficiency of the Candela C8 to a conventional boat, our camera boat that followed us over here used about 50 liters of gasoline, which would cost about 90 euros to fill up. The Candela C8 used 40 kilowatt hours of electricity, which might cost around 8 euros on the market, but which has been supplied courtesy of the port authorities here in Ceuta.
The boat returned to the Spanish mainland on the same day after recharging. The voyage aimed to showcase the potential of another one of Candela's offerings, the P12 electric hydrofoil ferry, which is already in use in Stockholm's public transport system. It can carry 30 passengers at high speed, halving travel times while reducing operational costs.
Destroyed bridges, blackouts, empty water stations and looted hospitals. Across Sudan, the devastating impact on infrastructure from 2 years of civil war is laid bare. The conflict between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has killed and injured tens of thousands of people. But it's also decimated the very systems on which a society is built. Sudanese authorities estimate the cost of reconstruction at hundreds of billions of dollars. In the capital Khartoum, residents endure weeks-long power outages, unclean water, and overcrowded hospitals. A spokesperson for Khartoum State said the capital's 2 main water stations went out of commission early in the war, as RSF soldiers looted machinery and used fuel oil to power vehicles. Those left living in Khartoum resorted to drinking water from the Nile or long-forgotten wells. That's exposed them to waterborne diseases that few hospitals are equipped to treat. In terms of the capital's electricity, Oil and Energy Minister Mohieddin Naim said they are starting from scratch.
If we speak about Khartoum as a major consumer of electricity, we can almost say that 100% of Khartoum has been destroyed. 100%.
Naim also said oil production has halved to 24,000 barrels per day and refining has ceased, leaving Sudan dependent on imports. Sudanese authorities estimate reconstruction needs at $300 billion for Khartoum and $700 billion for the rest of the country. That's amid what aid groups call the world's worst humanitarian crisis, in which some 13 million people have fled their homes. But after government forces retook Khartoum this year, some are starting to return to the capital. That, says Luca Render of the UN's development programme, makes tackling the lack of infrastructure more urgent.
So we're looking at somewhere between 2 or 3 million people that are looking at returning to Khartoum. And we want to avoid a process that creates another humanitarian emergency.
One such emergency is already playing out. Over the past week, a rapid cholera outbreak has claimed 172 lives out of 2,729 cases, mostly in Khartoum. But there is little chance of reconstruction taking place in the short term, given continued fighting and drone attacks on infrastructure. And that's not to mention a world that is becoming more averse to foreign aid, and where the biggest donor, the United States, has slashed assistance.